So yeah, it was definitely an improvement. I just remember us seeing it and going, "Huh, did you buy this?" And you're like, "No, I made that." And we're like, "You're not creative."
I'm
And they're like,
creative
"You're
when I'm
creative."
drunk.
Yes.
Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
Where the characters are as quirky as the finds.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged.
Jacob, who's your favorite artist?
One of my favorite artists is Brandon Bird, who does a lot of like off-kilter pop culture art. He has a series of paintings he's made of Sears storefronts um, that are very ethereal and you know they just they're not bizarre looking. It's just a weird choice maybe for someone to make, but they're well done. He made a coloring book years back called Law and Order Artistic Intent. It's a you remember like the old coloring books, like the big fat lined drawings, and you color them in. And normally it's hey, it's GI Joe, it's Transformers. It's a Law and Order episode.
I love it.
Yeah, he's great. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite artists. What do you ask?
So today's episode, we are talking about upcycled art.
Cool.
I love art, and however, my bank account does not allow me to purchase whatever kind of art that I like. So, um, I think that's one of the things whenever people go garage sale shopping, visiting yard sales, going to estate sales. For me, whenever I do that, I'm always looking for a cool piece of art to add to my walls in my house, maybe a little sculpture thing that I can look at and brings me joy. You want to Marie Kondo this all the way of going, does it bring you joy? Great. Pay the 5 cents for that piece of art. Um,
5 cents.
or the $1,500, whatever it may be. However, I think a lot of times, I think art brings us joy. Just as humanity, art should bring you joy. It should also cause you to think differently. So, whenever I start thinking about art, and I love going to art museums and art galleries, I travel a lot. Whenever I'm traveling by myself, that's usually one of the ways that I kill time is going to these museums and galleries and just taking in the local art and appreciating what they're doing. One of my favorite artists that I follow right now, his name is Tyler Turnbull. He's actually based out of Katy, Texas. He I'm gonna show you one of his photos here in a second, one of some of his artwork. But he goes to garage sales, yard sales, Goodwill shopping, and he'll find artwork with he's looking for a really nice frame on it. But a lot of times it's the landscape art.
Okay.
And if listeners are thinking like the landscape art, a lot of times it's like a 1980s landscape art. So it's like sepia tone. It's like, oh, I don't need more orange and browns. But what Tyler does is that he goes in and he adds in pop culture pieces to it.
Okay.
So he's painted in Bob's Burgers. He's painted in Family Guy. He's
Okay.
he's doing all these uh was it Rugrats? Like he's doing all these cool things. He's also gotten cease and desist letters from these
Yeah.
uh places. So he's had to change up his art so that it's not necessarily ripping off of the shows that he's portraying these things off of. But and it got me thinking of like, man, how much upscaled art is out there? And I came across a organization. They are in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they are called Upscale Arts. And you can actually go to the store, you can purchase materials from them for your own art projects. They also do classes and events for kids, for adults, and you can come in and create your own upscale art for your space, either your home, your office, as a gift to someone else.
Sounds
Um,
cool.
but they're a creative reuse center. So it's very cool that they're doing this for their community. It's also a place so Jacob and I, we live in Texas. There's a place near me that you can actually donate still good to use art material to this company, and then they'll resell it, or they do shows and courses for the community that you can come in and use. Maybe like, hey, I have half a bottle of paint, still good, it's not dried out, I can still use it. um, Bits of yarn, string, quilting material, you can donate this stuff, so instead of it ending up in a landfill, it can end up at one of these reuse centers, and people can use it for art projects. And I thought,
I like the idea. Like it's a place where you can bring in, your brushes, the paints, the palettes, and stuff like that, and also a box of dried macaroni. You know,
well, during the pandemic, I took up
art
cross
supplies
stitching.
slash food pantry.
Yeah. Well, during the pandemic, I took up cross stitching. And so, like, hey, if I'm never going to get into stitching again, I could donate my materials to this
Okay,
group
cool.
and they can resell it to a
Yeah,
group that, someone else is going to take up the joy of cross stitching. Um, but also, like, I just got invited to a friend's house this coming Sunday. Every month, she hosts a craft day on a Sunday, and you bring over whatever craft project you're working on. And
hmm.
it's just a bunch of friends hanging out, having snacks, and working on art together. No one's selling this stuff. We're just doing it to hang out and socialize and friendship. But and if I needed, like you said, paintbrushes, I could go to these stores and buy it for pennies on the dollar versus going to purchase it full price from Amazon, from a craft store or something like that. And it goes back to community, and it helps fund a lot of community events.
I'd be such a bad participant in that kind of get together. Like, bring you a craft you're working on, not just show up with like a basket of unfolded laundry. You guys
Well,
gonna help
here's
me with this, right?
no, no, no. You have to do it yourself, but you could fold your laundry with your friends. Because I was like, I'm not working on a craft project right now. But, I was like, I could just go over there and hang out, because part of it is too is I like being around other people who are extremely creative, and this is a great like, what my friend hosts, it's a great way of just doing that. And if someone needs me to help cut fabric or do something, blow on a canvas, I'll do that. But, I know that's kind of a weird thing. Anyway, but yeah, it's just a fun time, and also it's a call of this is my episode of, like, call to arms of, if you love art, but you don't have art collector money, you can upcycle art. You can make your own art, or you can go and purchase art like my artist Tyler Turnbull does. You can purchase his art. Either way,
Okay, here's a quick question. You've used the term a few times now. I want to make sure I understand what the heck it means. When you say upcycled art, what are you communicating? What is that?
can you give me a definition for recycle?
Something that's got a second life, right? It's got to be altered in some way to be reused, but it's got a second use, a third use.
So, upcycle for me, whenever I try to define that, is that you're going to take something and essentially recycle it, but you are going to make it better than the original intention is.
Okay, okay.
So I'm going to show you some images, and for our listeners, you can see these images on our Instagram at Garage Sales Unhinged. These are some that I found on Reddit. So what I'm showing here, this was posted on the subreddit for repaintings.
It's a
Uh,
very cool painting of Godzilla. Honestly, that's really cool.
so the poster here, Stoneway 933R, posted, I had to sacrifice a few distracting seagulls in the process, but it's this sepia toned seascape of like some weeds growing, blowing in the wind, and a nice and relaxing ocean, waves lapping up. It's very still, but then you have Godzilla coming out, and it's like it's such a juxtaposition of like what Godzilla is and this destruction, and then like a nice day at the seaside.
Yeah, yeah, it's really mixed messages as part of the point. Yeah, no, it's otherwise a serene uh portrait landscape, and one of the really gnarly versions of Godzilla that's really spiky all over the place, and yeah, not a good time.
Another Another image I saw, I didn't bring it up, but it had Godzilla and, in a similar type painting, it had Godzilla, like, ready to fight, and then, what was the purple dinosaur?
Barney?
Yeah, Barney and Godzilla.
Awesome.
So this is an example of upcycled art. So you can actually, a lot of people are buying these pieces and then reimagining them into what
Oh.
another piece of art.
Okay, so this artist bought this piece and added to it.
Yes.
So otherwise, this would be like something that you'd buy in some, home goods or something like that. It's like your standard, hey, welcome to our home kind of art,
So in
mass produced, and this is what makes it unique.
for this subreddit, the subreddit of repaintings, it's repainting and transforming thrift store paintings.
Hmm,
So you buy it at a thrift store, you buy it at a yard sale. That's what some of these examples are. But like
very cool.
this is right up my alley. I love off the wall art. I love pop culture. Like I love this. It's great. So next example. So this one, it's a video that I'm showing right now, and it's someone's latest painting made of thrifted fabric and craft materials. This is from, I'm gonna say Side Done. It's SYDEDUNN. Again, it's also on that subreddit for repaintings. But what they took is they took a canvas, they took some fabric, stapled that fabric to the canvas, and then they're painting a house onto this. Now, what this artist also does is that they add in fabric, so it's a 3D art and really transforms what you would think of like, oh, it's a pretty standard fabric, but they've elevated it to something else. So again, it causes you to look at these types of supplies differently and
Hmm.
going, how would you use it differently? And again, whether these may be actual like artists that this is their living and this is what they're doing, or if you're like me and going, I don't have the money to purchase this, but I get really good inspiration and I could do something similar the next time I'm at a thrift store, a garage sale, and I find something, I'm going, you know what? I can transform that into something that I love. One year, Jake, I hosted a little scavenger hunt for our nieces and nephews, and I had boys versus girls. And to get kids to do stuff, you have to give them something to compete for.
Okay.
And so I made an awesome trophy out of an old lamp base, and I had like a little tiny T-Rex on top, and the T-Rex was biting into a little car, and there was like just little tchotchke things all around it, but I glued it all together and then I spray painted it gold.
Yeah.
And so it looked like this off the wall trophy. But the second that the kids saw it, they're like, yeah, I want that in my
Right.
room. And of course, it lasted all about a day and a half before they broke it. But it was still cool. And I think that's one of those things of, uh, again, being thinking outside the box for things that you want to give to other people, things that you want to have in your own house. Be wild and crazy with it. This is fun stuff.
This is really cool. I like that this one took it from a static flat painting uh and made it multimedia.
Yeah.
Brought in fabric, brought in resin, brought in, and started like adding to the painting with other paint and everything like that. And went from something that really not that interesting at all to something incredibly unique. And this all started from a thrift shop find.
Yeah.
So if you've got the wherewithal, or if you know somebody that's got the wherewithal, it's kind of the foundation for this project. Doesn't really have to cost you much of anything. I mean, you got
It costs you
you
your
got
time.
yeah, yeah.
And also for me, it probably costs some sanity because I'm not that creative. Like this, I can tell like, hey, this is because the way that they painted the house and the fence, I'm like, this is probably a professional artist because it looks real.
Mhm.
Um, but like very cool. And it's also like if I took the years and the patience to learn this, it would be something very cool to have in your house. Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit garagesalessupply.com and make your next sale a success. All right, this one just made me laugh. So someone painted, let's see, someone. This is posted by animal_pharmacy on the repaintings Reddit. They added Silver Surfer to an inspirational poster. So the inspirational poster is imagination, and it's kind of like this galaxy photo, and then they just painted the Silver Surfer dude on it. And I was like, oh, I love the inspirational posters, and then like I don't want to say I love the inspirational post. I love what people do to the inspirational posters to make it like so cliche.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this one's pretty on the nose. I mean, it almost the so you got the Silver Surfer comic book character, the standard inspirational poster that's got like just one word on there, and there's supposed to be some image that is associated with it, and so the one word at the bottom of this thing just reads imagination, and the background is a nebula, you know, in outer space. This this honestly makes like a ton of sense that they did this because it looks just like a Jack Kirby drawing,
Yeah.
you know, with the color choices and everything like that. So it totally fits.
Yeah. I love it. Like if I did this, which again, I'm not talented like these artists, but I'm going if I had imagination, I probably would have painted like a Rubik's cube on it. Like eh, imagine trying to solve that. So but yeah, I think taking and also like how many of us have had these inspirational posters and like what do I do with it? Well, I take it to a thrift shop. Sell it in a garage sale. And then someone can come along, purchase it, spend some time painting it, turn around and either resell it or put it up in their own abode.
Mhm.
And I love it. I think it's awesome. All right. This one is from my artist that I like, Tyler Turnbull. This one is called We Can't Keep It. It's an original painting that he did, and it is the Iron Giant.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So I loved, this one. I think it's so cute. So whenever he actually bought this, he so you can actually see down here in the left-hand corner, it says Windberg 70. So I think it was actually built in it was painted in 1970. The original piece was done in 1970 by an artist with the last name of Windberg. And just above that, you see Tyler's signature, and he painted this one in 2023.
Hmm.
So one, Tyler gives a nod to the original artist by not um, getting rid of their signature, but just adds on top of it. And so I follow him on Instagram. In his Instagram post, he shows the process of how he does this. And so for this specific one, it didn't have the Iron Giant in it. It didn't have the little boy. It didn't have the bike. It just had the trees, a meadow, and the broken gate. And then he paints these things in there. So it's like, oh, that is so cool. It's not a scene from the movie at all, but
It looks like it could be.
it goes
So
along with
yeah,
the storyline.
to kind of like uh, set the scene, you've got a landscape that is almost kind of a Thomas Kincaid kind of thing. Um, there's a sunrise, sunset, something like that. You've got trees framing a view of a meadow, and there's a old broken fence separating the foreground and the background. What this Tyler artist has added are characters from the movie Iron Giant. But he's done it in a way that matches the style of the original painting, so it looks like they're just part of this whole scene. It's not disruptive. It's not, it looks like this is all the original intent, which honestly I think is kind of a really cool. There's some fun art theory. I don't know. It's just a neat idea that I don't know if we're kind of like redirecting or hijacking the artistic intent behind the original is how to describe it, because this isn't disruptive. It's just adding a different story to the same scene. And I think it's a f- I think it's a cool way to treat art as opposed to just disregarding it.
Yeah. So he does a lot of pop culture type things. Like
Yeah.
he does a really good job of, and also Tyler is he may still do it. I don't know, but he's a former tattoo artist. So, very creative individual. But yeah, his stuff cracks me up. And one of these days I'm going to own an original artwork whenever I get original artwork money. So, um, all right, this one. This was posted in a subreddit for D&D, so Dungeons and Dragons, and this was posted by MomaQ1, MoMAQU1. Um, this person's wife actually upcycled the denim jacket and made it for him. So I've seen a couple of her other pieces. She takes fabric from t-shirts and other attire and merch and then adds it onto denim jackets. And it's just a cool way um, of actually like, hey, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons fan and I want to wear this type of thing, but maybe not the t-shirt, or the t-shirt has a hole in it, or whatever it may be. And I just think it's such a cool way to reuse um articles of clothing into it and then upcycle it to a different article of clothing. And this looks like it's the original cartoon graphic from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's I could see this being pretty pretty popular with a lot of the, kind of the retro throwback type thing. So yeah, it's a cool way to give a second life to a garment that might otherwise, just go by the wayside.
And also, this is a very cool way to do a unique garment. So a lot of time, people want to find something that I don't want to go to an event and be wearing the same thing that someone else is wearing. I don't want to buy that thing from the big box store because everyone has that thing from the big box store. This is a way to show off your personality, your fashion sense, not spend a lot of money, and also have kind of this unique piece in your closet going forward of going, it's a one in one thing. I have the only one in existence. And I didn't spend tons of money for it if you created it yourself.
Very cool.
All right. This one, I think we've all seen these before. Um,
It's
where
the little cherub figurines.
Yeah, and the head
Um,
broke off.
the head the head broke off of the thing, and that the artist saw that as the opportunity.
Well, and I think it's also one of those things of let me see who posted this again. This was on Reddit. The subreddit is unusual art, and it was posted by Stargarita. Um, and this is a way to, I think, like, again, you don't have to have big pieces of art. You don't have to have big canvases to put on your wall. You don't have to have a wall. Like, this is just something that you could put on your desk at work. It's funnier if this looks like you or somebody that you know. Um, it could also be a really good gift for somebody that looks like this and going, yeah, I thought it was funny.
So if I can describe what they did real quick. So you've got this cherub that is kind of being cute. It's laying on its stomach. It's got these wings, and it's like it's supposed to be holding its, its chin on its hands. It's cradling its chin with its hands. And it's, being all fat and angelly and everything like that. The original head on this thing is missing, and so the artist brought in a porcelain head that does not look like an angel at all. It's not doesn't have big chubby cheeks or anything like that. It looks like it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I was thinking maybe it was who played the original Superman.
Reeves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of looks like Reeves. Um, could be Henry Cavill. There's some Henry Cavill fans out there. So, I mean, you make it whatever you want, but it made me giggle and laugh, which is why I'm like, again, this thing may only be 2 inches long. Like, it's not a big piece of sculpture. It's something easy to make. And I think I've seen these in almost every garage sale. So
Hmm,
again, if you're looking for some unique decor, this might be something for people to look out for and upcycle.
very cool.
All right, last one I have. This one is on the subreddit upcycling. It was posted by n-lock. Um, I I love, so again, I love the weird and wonderful art. This is something I would probably actually purchase and put in my home. Um, Jake, do you want to describe people what it is?
So it's a hand mirror. It looks pretty old, given that it's really ornate. It's all one piece of metal of some sort. There's some detail on the handle and around the frame of the mirror. Where the action is I guess where the mirror glass would be. It's no longer mirror glass. It's actually a painting of some sort it's a giant eyeball staring out. So uh really photorealistic looking eyeball. Uh Julie, what speaks to you about this?
Oh, everything. I love it. So, one, I love this type of art because it plays on the imagination of someone looking into a mirror. And whether it's, the mirror, mirror on the wall, Disney, don't come after us. But like it could be the mirror, mirror on the wall and like who's the fairest of them all. And you just have this one big eyeball, like from people are gonna hate me, from the Lord of the Rings, like that eyeball looking at you and going, you are the beautiful. Like you can get really demonic with it, or is it like a giant looking at a mirror? The other thing is like,
It'd be
uh
great, like yeah, like Sauron is like, are doing okay, but have you seen some of these elves? I mean, come on.
um, but I also thought like how cool would it
You do
be?
you. Feel good about you. You don't need anyone's validation but your own.
What if his voice isn't actually that deep? Like, what if it's giant voice and he's just I have this big eye
I like
and
the yeah, I have this idea of like if you take something that normally it's been portrayed as being very mean sounding and it turns out it's really really not. Like what if Satan was actually just like a had the personality of a middle manager, but like all of the demons and everybody else is way into it and they sound mean and scary and all this other stuff and Satan shows up and he's just wanting to go over these reports and is really wanting to see tracking up of the suffering. The whippings have been kind of lagging lately. I'm hoping we can pick up the whippings soon, guys.
I
Soon.
mean, that does sound like a horrible way to spend eternity is looking at reports.
Hell is endless productivity. Yes.
Hell is Excel. Oh, that should be a t-shirt. Um, so, going back to this piece of art, I love it. Again, I wish I had this level of artistry because I would probably make a whole series of these. I would definitely go to your garage sales, your yard sales, estate sales, find the old like magnifying glasses and then
Mm.
put the big eyeball in there because then like that is just funny. And then again, if you want to do multimedia, you can do that, and then, you find a piece of artwork where it's, like, almost like a person's portrait. You put this in there, like, as if they were holding the magnifying glass, and you're seeing their eye up close, like, part of me is going, I want art that makes me laugh and giggle, and again, it brings me joy, and having something like this where it's an oversized eyeball brings me tons of joy.
Yeah, this one is really giving me kind of Jonathan Sims, Magnus Archives, Ceaseless Watcher vibes, and it's good.
Our audience is going, "Man, these people are just, like, art nerds." Yeah, we are. We enjoy this stuff.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, I
So-
think it's one of those things of looking at what people could purchase at any kind of secondhand bargain, and it's not just purchasing it for what it was originally intended for. It's also looking and going, "Hey, I wanna decorate my dorm. I wanna decorate my house. I wanna decorate my room." And maybe I like this vase, but I don't really like the way that it was intended to use. So I'm going to repurpose it for something else, upcycle it. And again, some people do this as this is their career and
Mhm.
they make art. People like me is I don't have art collector money, so I got to make do with what I can find. And this is a great way to create that.
But you've got like some, artistic sensibilities. I want to give you a little bit of credit here because I think it was back when you were in college and we were helping you move from one apartment to another or something like that. And I think I recall you were the first person I saw do the thing where you put used corks
Yeah.
in a vase. And I was like, how insightful, and I'm sure it might not have been a new thing at the time, but I'd never seen it before. And I was like, huh, you'd otherwise throw away the corks or just have an empty vase. And that's very sad. And now everybody's happy because you put the corks in the glass. And
So, it wasn't a vase. I it was
oh, it
a
was a
lamp.
lamp. Yeah, it was a lamp.
Yeah, and I bought that lamp at a yard sale. I wanna say I bought it for $5. And it was just, you have the glass bulbous vase that is part
That
of
was
the lamp.
early 2000s money, $5. So,
It was probably late 1990s, so thanks for aging me.
mm.
But I wanted to have this vase, and I was like, "Well, I like it, but, like, I wanted there to be a story to be told with it." And so the
It's
court
not enough that it gives you light by which to read. It also needs to be telling you a story that competes with the book you are reading.
also, I was in college. It wasn't like I was reading. That's not, why I went to college. Um, no, so the I will say all the corks that I had in that vase, they were from milestone celebrations. They were from trips that I went on. Everything in there had like every cork had a story behind it. And so whenever I added a cork to the vase and I could look at it and going, "Oh, I remember that trip to with that friend," or "I remember that birthday celebration," or "I remember that New Year's Eve party." And so it for me, it captured some memories in a way that was also functional as a lamp.
I'm doing a little bit of forensic work in my head here as you're talking about this. So this was in college, and if you're saying it was the late '90s, and there's all these corks, but Julie, I don't believe you were 21 at the time. How is this possible?
I think there's enough time between now and then that, yeah, that happened. So like, come after me, yo. Uh, but no, it was also one of those things of, it, also, I had this lamp for years, for a very long time. Actually, I don't know if I still have the lamp, but I might have sold it at a yard sale. But I probably had that lamp and put at least 15 years of corks in there. Did I put every single cork that I ever had? No. But did I put ones in there that reminded me of fun time with friends? Yeah. And it was a very cool keepsake, and it was a statement piece in my house whenever I bought my first house, and I loved it. It was very cool. And again, it's an easy way. I didn't change the lamp. I mean, it was always a lamp. I just redecorated it for my taste.
Yeah, like, and to be clear, like, this is like completely transparent glass.
Yeah.
So you could like totally see whatever was inside it, but for doing that, I guess you just see like the lighting element or like some kind of like metal rod that ran from the light bulb down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely an improvement. I just remember us seeing it and going, huh, did you buy this? And you're like, no, I made that. And we're like, you're not creative.
I'm
And then after
creative when I'm drunk.
proceeded to, throw your couch down the stairs.
Well,
But
I will say this, I mean, whenever you don't have money, you get real creative. So,
mm,
um, you know, again, I love art. I would love to be able to go to all the art galleries and be, someday be able to sponsor an artist and help them achieve the things that they want to achieve. But until then, it's like I can still appreciate art, and I appreciate the artists that are putting their work out there on the social media, that are upcycling and recycling things and making sure things don't go to landfill. So again, upcycled art, upcycled clothing, upcycled stuff. Again, you get a one of one that no one else in the world has. And then you also get to have something that you get to enjoy. And who cares if other people enjoy it? You enjoy it.
stop preaching at me. I get it.
Well, that's this week's episode.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Julie.
Bye.